In ancient history, a war between the newly created races of Toril and the forces of Hell left humanity nearly extinct. In the post-cataclysmic world, humans placed themselves above all others, while races deemed undesirable watched from below. Ferox, a newly created race intertwined with beast and elf, were regarded to be even more monstrous and were forced into servitude. During the war, the gods and goddesses gifted unique arcane artifacts to those fighting against the Hells. These items turned the tides of war and brought forth brand new schools of magic in the form of the mage class. Alas, magic and hope fade from a world on the brink of destruction. Our hope now lends itself to a select and unlucky few.
Hello. Yes, they do look really bright.
I don't know if I can do anything about that.
I think it's a combination of we're both really pale.
Yeah.
His hair and his sweater.
Yeah, I can't even see that
Oh no. Oh. Sorry, I'm pale, have white hair, and I'm wearing a cream sweater. This is probably not a good idea.
As wave your hand.
Okay,
Are you
over
okay?
Madison's shoulder. You can't.
I can't.
Because I usually have the dark background behind me.
Start talking.
Oh.
Alright, okay. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Unlucky Few. As you can probably tell by Maddie adjusting cameras and stuff, our tech guy is back to the grind, back working, back to not being here when we do streaming. But that is alright. You're married now, that's cool. But anyway, oh, what a kidder. So before we get into the recap, so our video this week went up real late, so that is.
There's a lot of problems getting it to post.
Yep.
Me and Manny had a fun time about it.
So that was a bit of an issue, but hopefully this week's video will be ready to post on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ToughDND. Other announcements. Coming up in the near future, we're going to be having more streaming stuff going on, aside from just D&D on Friday nights. Nope, sorry. So coming up, we're going to have more streaming stuff coming up, aside from D&D on Saturday nights. I don't know why I just called today Friday. I think it's because I worked today. No one caught it, though, so that was pretty cool.
I squinted my eyes, but I didn't say anything.
Just trying to. Let's see. Cass unfortunately is not here tonight. She has food poisoning, so rip her and all of the things that she's eaten for the last 24 hours. And I think that's all for our announcements, aside from text Ellie to make sure she's watching. So,
I hear about this episode.
with that, do you?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Without any further ado, no one has any further announcements. I do believe we're ready to get on to the recap. So, going back to the ending of 2 sessions ago, you all returned to Baldur's Gate, finding Colbert and Gab's house up in flames, smoke rising in the distance from somewhere in the city. And upon finding this, you all decided to break off into your various directions. A group of NPCs following one trail of blood, a second group of NPCs following the trail of flames further into the city, and finally your group heading down towards the river. Upon arriving there, you discovered a group of your friends being overtaken by the guild, and with the help of, it seems, 4 generals of the cult, the Black Rose, who, at this point, at the very least, seems to be functioning on the enemy of my enemy as my friend, as they are also, as it were, not on good terms with the guild at the moment, helped you down there so you all could provide a distraction while your friends were escorted out via teleport spell, thanks to the stepping in of everyone's favorite tavern keeper. So, upon exiting, a lot of you met up at the closed for the next 2 days suites, where some of you saw some old friends, and some of you just kind of mourned for the loss of a couple people that did not make it through the fight, and a couple more of you worried about people that were either injured or were in locations unknown. We got to witness a very interesting conversation between Syl and a goddess who has been interfering in his life for quite some time now, as well as a deep conversation in between T and her longtime friend Lumina regarding regarding what had happened in the village, the disappearance of one of the village elders, as well as information on her missing husband, Gruff. And yep. And so, without any further ado, where we left it was with Syl and Colette up in one of the rooms, and Mr. disappearing after the appearance of a black cat that is now wandering through the halls. We are going to pick back up in the suites as we come to, who do I want to do first? Fen.
Oh my god, really?
Look at each other. We didn't even look at each other. It's okay, Ben. We believe you. Even if Shar doesn't.
Sometimes having friends has its benefits.
We don't.
Sometimes car should go to bed.
Already did.
You need a nap.
I've had enough.
You need some milk.
Oh wait, it's not 7 o'clock yet.
I think the
Staring at his watch
I think,
until-
I think the
Waiting
roommate,
outside the door.
I think the roommate roles is one of the best things you ever did.
So,
No, we're not playing with the camera board. Nope.
as you are sitting down in, I would imagine in the main part of the tavern, as
Yeah,
it
he
was
never
closed the
he
second
didn't go
day,
upstairs.
you would kind of feel a sensation on the lower part of your legs as a black cat kind of walked by you and sort of rubbed up against you.
Hello, I'm going to grab the kitchen. Come here, do you like
Before, as you reach for it, it just kind of like quickly like jumps away from your grabs, yeah, from your little hands, and kind of like pads away a little bit before looking up at you and just.
Oh, she wants me to follow her. I'm going to follow the kitty and try to pick her up from behind.
Alright, she's just like kind of like running away at a fair pace from you, kind of like up to the second floor, and then kind of like peeling off one of the side hallways that kind of leads away from the tower, before kind of like stopping out front of a door and then just kind of like nudging the door open with its head, and it kind of like goes inside.
Here, let me help you, love. And I open up the door for her. Oh.
Then you do it like
So as you open up the door, the cat just like runs into the room quick and kind of like disappears around the corner of the room.
It is, who here would own a cat? She doesn't like animals. He's like, oh, maybe it's one of Harlan's friends. I'll go around the corner that the cat went around.
So you go around the corner, and standing there in the room, arms crossed, looking at you, is, how tall are you again?
He's like 6'1".
About the same height is a female-looking high elf pale skin, long black hair, kind of like braided back out of her face. Very plain kind of black gown on, and some sort of like contraption hooked to her side. But she has like a cloak on over the dress, so it's just sort of like kind of like it's obvious that there's something on the hip, but you can't quite pick out what it is. But it's just kind of there looking at you, amused, arms crossed, and just staring at you, kind of like gauging you.
I'm happy to see a cat run by and have him. Something tells me that the cat's gone. Sorry, I tried to pick you up.
So this is where I die.
Well, I am glad that I have not wasted my gifts on someone who is not perceptive.
Never a waste. Certainly the best choice you ever made was this one.
So,
It's like a pained smile on his face.
so you say, but that is one of the things that I wish to talk to you about today.
Well, looks like I'm free, I suppose.
So,
How's it going? I'm a little nervous.
it is nothing bad, but
That was me coughing.
when we last spoke in the ruins that you found your contraption that you have in,
Yes.
do you remember what I said to you at the end of that conversation? I told you that there were two you need to look for, and you found them. For that I'm grateful.
Oh, yes.
I told you that much will depend on you, and your fate, and the fate of those that you meet,
Tall order.
are free of any sort of shackles, but you will be bound to each other. I told you that your fate was up to you, and I told you to remember, most importantly, that nothing and no one is too far gone for mercy and salvation, as long as they are willing to accept it. That would appear to be a lesson that you still need work on.
It's only
Yes.
been a few weeks. I don't disagree with you. Only been a few weeks. Listen, I sort of feel bad about that. I guess I should have been a little bit nicer to the mean drow woman.
Oh, I was not even referring to her.
Oh, yeah, me neither. I didn't feel a little guilty about that at all.
I'm sure you did, but it is good to know to maybe think about your actions and the things you say a little harder before they come out of that mouth of yours. As that mouth of yours appears to be awful loose in recent days with the secrets that you have spilled. But no, I'm thinking back to, I believe I watched you in the sewers saying the only thing for things like them is to execute them.
Only the bad ones! Only the women that like to kill and rape.
And then I do believe there was another one just perhaps 24 hours ago, where as soon as we find that tiefling, we will kill him on sight.
Did I say that?
You did.
Yes, you did.
You did.
That's because he's bad! Well, I thought he was, and then apparently...
I believe I quote, if we see rain, we shoot him on sight.
These are
Oh, you
not...
can't blame me for thinking the bad person from the guild who tried to rob tea should be,
He did.
Now that apparently he's not terrible.
Even still, it is important to learn these things before we say and attempt to act on them. What happens if everything happened the way it did, and instead he runs up to you needing help and you kill him, and all of your allies die because of your rash decisions?
Listen, I feel like it's pretty obvious at this point. I can talk a big game sometimes, but I wouldn't just immediately kill him on sight for real. would be rude. And also, I could probably die too. I'm not exactly the strongest.
You are strong enough, and that is another thing that I will talk to you about. I said this before, and I will say it again. Who am I?
A very nice goddess who gave me some of her power to borrow.
And do you think, as a goddess of my own plane, and one of the 16 goddesses and gods worshipped in this entire world, that I am a powerful being?
Say so, yes.
Do you think I am an intelligent being?
Yes, is this a trick? Yes, of course. Well, obviously.
And so, do you believe that a powerful and intelligent being would appoint someone to be one of their warlocks if they thought that they were an incompetent, bumbling idiot?
I suppose. Listen, I have some self-growth I still need to go through. I'm not
Clearly.
trying to insult your decisions, I just sort of hate myself. So, you know, we'll stamp down that bump in the road when we get to it.
For the moment, just please stop putting yourself down so often. It's
He, like, his eyes get watery, he's like, oh my god, she believes in me.
it's a little embarrassing to watch for me personally, but also remember, I did choose you for a reason. You are strong enough for this.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's been a really rough emotionally few weeks. That was actually quite nice to hear. Oh, you're too kind. He's like blinking tears out. He doesn't want to like. He doesn't want to cry in front of the goddess, but like it's happening. He's like very grateful for how nice she is.
May I continue?
Please.
Excellent.
Your therapist contacts
So, the object that you found that you still
Yes.
carry.
Yes, I still have it.
Yes. So, I've been doing my. Just kind of like stops for a second and sort of pauses to find the right word. Research into where those objects needed for that may lie. I have good news on that front and bad news.
Oh.
The good news is that all 8 of the objects that fit inside that appear to lie in the same place.
Well, that's
So,
good.
you can get them all in one trip. The bad news is I'm not entirely sure where that place is. I know that it is somewhere north of this city, and I have seen visions of a burial, of an ancient lich, and the name Larlock. Though I'm unfamiliar with what the name could be. And as far as a further look in on it, there's no more that I can find at the moment. So I will task that to you to determine what all of those things could possibly be.
Of course. I mean, thank you for giving this much information. I'm sure I could probably find some hermit or scholar that might be familiar with that name. Or perhaps just an over-enthusiastic grave clerk.
But, I believe that is all I have for you at the moment. No, that is not. Your 2 companions that were taken from you.
Yes. Are you friends?
I saw that they were taken by the guild.
Unfortunately.
Somewhere to the east. But there is a mage that resides in the guild by the name of Chernabog,
Oh, yes.
whose magics are preventing me from finding exactly where they may have been taken to. And so I believe the 2 of them are the key to finding your friends.
Wait, who are the 2 of them?
The guild and Chernabog.
Oh, okay, sorry, okay. Well, because of me, more people got wrapped up into terrible things, so
And
fix that.
towards that front, it appears that you are not the only one chasing the guild and Chernabog for people that were taken from you. There are people within your group who suffer from the very same thing. So,
We're going to remedy that.
once again, these appear to be the ties that bind you. Fate has appeared to put you in very similar positions, as it were. It seems like the wheels are sort of, well, turning for one final joke.
Well, here's hopefully I'm not on the ass end of it.
That is all I have for you now. She kind of like looks past you towards the door, kind of like gives like an eyebrow raise. There's a white cat sitting at the doorway.
Oh, another kid!
She just kind of like gives the cat a look and just goes, "A minute, if you will." The cat kind of like looks up and just kind of like walks out the door.
Family?
The sister who, up until recently, we did not quite get along, though desperate times, as you know. That is,
Time to fix the old family bonds.
yes, my sister's, it's the first time in quite a long time I've spoken to my sisters, Mistra and Selene, but here we are. That was Mistra.
Oh!
She was here for another one of your companions. In fact, she might be here for two of them, but that remains to be seen.
The only thing he can remember for sure is like Teeny's mouth, so that's why Mr. But she was like, "Oh, what? Goddess, what?" So Henry's just like, "Well, it's been an honor."
Indeed, it is my time to go. Though before I go, there is a gift to hopefully allow you to be successful in your quest.
Wait, are we still? No, yeah, camera.
Sorry about that. We'll jump right back into it for you real quick. So, Shore turns to you and just, before I leave, a little gift to help you on your quest here.
You don't have to get me anything. You've already given me so much.
With that, she kind of holds out her hand, and you see sort of like a gathering of arcane energy around her hand before she sort of closes it like this, and it all kind of gathers in like sort of her caged hand before subsiding, and she just holds out to you on open palm, just like a small black and purple orb.
So I'll hold out my hand and
She gives it to you, and as she does, it just sort of begins to suffuse into your skin. And from your 4th level feat that you just took, you now have the ability to cast all of those spells and cantrips that you gained from that.
oh my. I would have fun with
Becomes
these.
looking like that.
And Fendia now has prestidigitation! Make the room smell like roses.
Now you only need one outfit.
Well, I'm glad that it won't be going to waste.
Certainly not. Ooh. He seems genuinely excited.
It is my time to depart, so remember what we talked about.
Yes.
Continue to grow. And best of luck on finding that place. It is of the utmost importance, and I do believe finding it will allow you to find your friends easier. It'll give you
Hopefully they don't die first.
that. From what little I've gathered of him, immediate murder does not seem to be the MO of this Charnabal.
Well,
He is a slaver, a torturer, an experimental sort of
that's worse.
necromage of sorts. So
Well, listen, I'm gonna get this all figured out. Gonna kick some butt, maybe take some names, redistribute those names if we have to. But we're going to get this all solved.
is there a cat down there?
No, it was
Falling
Kai's
down the
it
stairs
was
over
Kai's
and over.
communication device.
No, it's just Anika's drawings on the back of every page of her character sheet.
That's
Funny
why-
and saying, get a look at my hideous
that's why
body.
you-
That's not the one that I was laughing at. Want to show the camera that one?
Jojo said.
Wow, his thighs are really fucking
That's
thick.
why you received a gift, and I said under my breath, and now he looks like that because you're holding it up to the
I'm
camera.
sorry, I really wasn't trying to do anything goofy. I
It's
just
okay.
forgot. Anyways, yeah.
Don't flash the camera.
He appears to be dangerous, so I would exercise caution around him.
That's for sure. He hit me with
and
a spell and it hurt very bad.
Know that, for me personally, having him, his compatriot that he runs the guild with, and the guild in its entirety out of the picture would be a very good thing.
I
So,
don't doubt it.
keep that in mind as you move forward. Oh, and one last word of advice. Those figures that you've met,
Oh, the scary masked people.
the
Not
black,
particularly fond
the
of.
Black Rose,
Yes.
they are not to be trusted.
Don't worry, I don't.
They are dangerous. The lack of information surrounding them is concerning as far as their lack of any apparent ideals, goals, members, what they are trying to achieve. And foremost, the master that the four that you have met directly follow has power on par with a level that is my own. And not just my own, but she kind of like gestures towards the door, Mr. Rose. Our own.
That's extra disconcerting. Don't trust that, especially considering the fact that magic's power is waning.
It is.
Don't know where they got it from.
It is a singular figure, but they are certainly an anomaly in terms of the power they possess. The physical strength that they possess is beyond human, and the magical strength they possess is of that nature as well. So, I would they ask that you are careful. Is that your cat?
My sleep. Oh, I didn't think that. I thought that was a lady. What? I thought the neighbors were really excited to get up.
Just in my bedroom whining.
Hello.
So,
Well, definitely. I don't
Keep
worry.
on-
I didn't trust them.
keep all of that in mind, and I will, I'm sure, see you again or speak to you at some point in the future.
Should I maybe talk to Vayanis and company about this? She's like the who's one of the clerics at the fishery. The ones that's like still alive.
If you choose to, though this is tragically a task that is going to fall mainly on you and
Understandable.
those who you have bound yourself to. After all, have you heard the talk in the streets? As she begins to walk towards the door, as she kind of like walks out and sort of grabs the door before leaning her head back in. You should listen in. After all, you're a hero. She'll shut the door and just. With that, she is gone, and you are alone in a room.
Oh no.
I gotta stroke my non-existent beard.
I keep forgetting that for a few hours it's gonna be like that.
It's grown back. at this
Oh,
point.
okay.
You went to bed and it wasn't there, and you woke up and it was all back.
I might just shave the mustache. I'm like Audie as a person, so like the goatee on now. Anyways, well,
So, is there anything you would like to do immediately?
go back downstairs and let whatever you do with the next layer happen.
So.
Nothing. Just reading down there now.
All right. Man, I hate when I change the name of songs and I don't know what I changed them to. So, next up, we come to Syl. You are.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm wearing dead.
You're the teacher now.
Standing in the doorway of the balcony is Colette, kind of looking at you. Much of the bandages at this point have been taken off her. It seems like the magic being used to heal her has accelerated the healing to the point where there's really only a large portion of the bandages kind of like covering her, like from about here to here, and sort of focusing on this shoulder specifically, the shoulder that had the bulk go through it. There's like a little bit of dried blood going through the bandage, though for the most part it's clean. She is shirtless aside from that, though she is wearing sort of like more relaxed pants and is barefoot. And the main thing is just her hair has been stripped of its dye. So it is the same kind of light blue color that Gab's is. You kind of see like a significantly closer family resemblance at this point. And the lack of makeup on her face just has her looking probably 2 or 3 years younger. And the other thing that's very noticeable is she has her hair sort of pulled back out of her face, is though everything on her face is healed from where the throwing knife kind of struck her, there is now a scar that kind of starts right about here and just runs like down past like over her eyelid and kind of down her cheek to about the bottom of where her ear meets her jaw. You're so loud. Oh, boys tonight. There, she just kind of like stands before you, just sort of like looking at you. So, rough night, yeah?
What's the worst nights?
Died.
Yeah. Who did that?
That is, well, not great to hear, but still. She kind of like slowly makes her way into the room, sort of like sitting down on the bed. What?
I misspoke. Yes.
So, how is everyone else?
Let's see. She has a lot of questions from people in her group. Ben is Ben. Arwen's Arwen. Kai has sweemed more he did in the last few hours than he did the whole time he's been here with Kat. So, the usual for them.
Well, what was special about Kat?
He likes a woman in armor.
Oh, did she don her full regalia?
She did.
Ned owes me 5 gold.
The only reason he was able to stand on his feet because I had a hand on his back so he didn't fall to the ground.
She cuts a very imposing figure in it. She just, tragically doesn't have much occasion to wear it anymore, but still. I hope that she is alright after what I'm sure was probably an awkward day for her. How is, my sister?
I think the straw coats it behind me.
Imagine. Yeah. I have to apologize for putting her through such hardships. I think I may have overextended my capabilities slightly.
No, you did today.
How's, just for reference, it's not today anymore. That was the previous day, the one to get a night's sleep. How is the prince?
I'll give you help. You need anything? No. No idea.
Shit. How about, rain?
We were told not to go into either room, so
Fair. Man, didn't expect him to wind up being a good guy, huh? Got gutted for it, but hey. I finally did the right thing. Shit. Just kind of like flops back on the bed and sort of is staring up at the ceiling. She doesn't say anything further, unless you're gonna bring something up.
what's next for you?
Well, I think it goes without saying that something needs to be done about the guild. First and foremost. I mean, I don't like the look of this black rose, but right now they're just sort of existing. The guild is making moves, so I think they're definitely first on the list. I'll have to see if we can maybe work with Finn and Lucian. See if we can get the council of Four to see reason on maybe taking a couple more drastic measures towards them before it results in all-out warfare.
Considering you two already went through drastic measures, the one who is more on the winning side, Chow, has been muted. I think you're going to find the majority of these two do drastic.
Two already took drastic measures.
Well, there was two on the battlefield. Well, two of the what were on the battlefield?
Which ones?
Bastion and from
That's
what?
your last name.
Okay.
I just physically
Falana.
felt that an ass.
Dampler.
I could never say it though. I stare at the spelling every time I don't know how to say it.
That's that'll make our job easier, I suppose. Shit. What a mess. How many were lost?
Before or after we showed up?
Altogether.
I only know 6.
I know some of the monks that showed up with that, the handsome looking Ganassi. She's also buff as shit and doesn't wear a lot of clothes.
I heard nobody calling too handsome.
Your handsome.
Your hands.
No, that's Kai. No.
It's alright. You missed a previous conversation because there wasn't a PC involved in that. Where someone was talking to Colette when they found out that when everyone was talking about how Gab just like likes gals, and somebody like kind of turned to Colette and was like, "Do you like women?" And she's just like, "No." And they're like, "Hard no or soft no?" And she went, "Hard no." Looks over at two who she like cuddled with last night and sees like all the muscles and just goes, "Soft no." But regardless, I know some of the monks were lost. A few of the prefects weren't looking so good.
Yeah, if you were dead.
That's gonna be a mess. Oh, that reminds me. I need to get downstairs.
No, you're resting.
No, if the twins
I'll
ask.
cast sleep on you.
You wouldn't dare.
I
Battery HP's pretty low.
The twins ask Gab to be a prefect. I need to be there to kick their ass.
You're going to sleep.
I'm rested enough. I need food. I need probably something to drink.
Then you'll lay in bed and someone will get it for you.
I can walk. They didn't hit my
You're going
legs.
to lay on the bed. You know, I expected certain people to act like children at the moment, like Kai, but lay down.
Just keep coming. I don't think I'm acting like a child. I have a job to do.
Yeah, that can wait.
Except it can't. This is a very time-sensitive issue.
I'm sure Sandra can send a message to the boards, and I think even Finn can send a message as well. You're currently indisposed at the moment.
If I'm indisposed, then what is Finn?
Taking a mild vacation.
Well, then he can't sit. Please let me go downstairs.
I refuse. I'm sorry, but you can't order me around.
Have the two of you talked about your background?
From Noble Wargate?
Yeah.
She commented.
Yeah. Alright, I was just making sure. In that case, she just kind of looks at you as you say that and just goes, sits back down on the bed, lays back down looking at the ceiling, and just, as you wish, my lord.
Good, I don't cast a spell.
Waste the spell.
I was serious. I was going to cast a spell.
Waste the spell slot on this collar.
Oh god. Let me check something real quick. This is important.
I didn't think you did.
Yes.
Oh, I saw this SpongeBob with a hyper-realistic face. But I can't see if I will from over here.
She's just laying up looking at the ceiling.
So then he'll go to he'll tie a string outside the door. So she were to walk out, she'll trip and fall. Feel better, you need to heal.
You better eat some shit.
Attach like a little bell to it, so Sandra would know if one of you guys is supposed to be sleeping is not sleeping. Also, out of character, that was a complete bluff. I don't have to spell.
That's fine. So you start going downstairs after that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get about 3/4 of the way down the stairs and you hear a bell. We just see Sylph.
I don't think I can even lift her up.
You can lay her down though.
Whoa! What do you do?
Do I know if Sandra left me there? It's hard to tell if all of them are like coming and going.
She's somewhere around.
We also locked the front door. I know
You
we
know,
did yesterday.
you know the suites are closed for today.
Then I would pass a message to Sandra, who's 20 feet. One of the people who's supposed to be sleeping is no longer trying to sleep.
You just heard from Sandra. Who would... Cole, that's probably fine. That's all. Do you go back up the stairs, or you just continue on your way? Damn, that would have been really funny, too.
No, there's no way I would be able to win that fight.
Well, it's not just that. I will say, as you go back down into the main part of the inn, you don't see anyone come down the stairs.
She's also upstairs in the other rooms of the people.
She just jumped out the fucking window.
There's also Featherfall is a spell.
Didn't use Featherfall, but that's fine.
Yeah, he would have gone down to the basement, just like instead of use magic circle.
Yeah, it's a what is it? An anchor point for a teleportation circle.
That's really the place to just steady.
Gotcha. I would say over the course of the whole day you can write it down.
What's the spell I plan to take at some point? Teleportation circle. Makes travel easier.
Just for the record, it's a real shame that you didn't get to actually experience this in character, but it's kind of funny that you set up the bell thing, otherwise it would have gone completely unnoticed. She waited until you left and then cast invisibility on herself. So you would have just like looked up and there just would have been like the door open and like the bell and string like laying there on the floor, but then just like nothing else. She literally snuck out of the room invisible and just shit, and just like got up and like saw that there was no one there. And then like if you walked towards the door, you might have like bumped into an invisible body on the way there.
Oh my God.
Would have been like sorry, and then just continued walking by you.
She probably knows that I possibly heard. Or someone heard.
She kind of figures. She was, as soon as it happened, she was like, shit. But then she knew that no one would see her about it, so it was fine. So, with that out of the way, at some point, Kai, the twins and Amaranthine will pull you aside, and Amaranthine will kind of like lead that conversation of just switch music again for a different.
This week is learning opportunity.
Yeah, learning how to
It's not-
survive.
It's not sad or scary music we're saying.
So, you are the young spirit healer who had wished to enroll at the academy, yes?
Yep, that's me.
Well, I'll tell you what, you have some shit timing. So, that is, there's currently no one there to teach you. The good news is, Aqua, if you would be so kind, Aqua hands you a, sort of, rolled up vellum. It has like a ribbon tied around it. If you would like. It is a document that is documenting your official acceptance into study at the academy.
Who handed it to me?
Aqua did.
In this one, it's shown that you are the only spirit killer, and as such, prefect.
In his head, guy's just like, maybe this is cool.
So, really, for 20 years.
Based on the current situation at the academy and recent events, your study unfortunately cannot begin immediately. Though as recompense for this, consider your full tuition for your time at the academy covered, compensated.
Like, she can see like a grin start to spread, but then he covers his mouth.
I was saying, Knight just kind of leans in. It's okay, you're allowed to be happy about that.
I feel like it's one of those scenes in a sitcom where they leave the room and close the door and like, excuse me, and they just hear, yes! But he doesn't do it. You good?
I don't think I've heard that noise from before.
Yes. So, congratulations and welcome to the Academy of Ninjas.
Nice. So, who would be teaching you that?
So, in about 2 weeks' time, is when the senior-most Archmage, that is... What is the name? Archmage Poignard is scheduled to return to the Academy from a small trip that he is currently on, and he is the elder-most spirit healer remaining in the Academy, so it is to him that the position will be offered of prefect. And so when he returns, we would like you to come up and meet with him to see if he would be interested in maybe taking you under his wing. And also, for being honest, also help us in convincing him to become a prefect. He is a little finicky, as it were. So he is not the easiest to get along with, but incredibly skilled.
If he says,
There are more teachers, so the issue then would just be the lacking of a prefect, which would... Well, let's just hope he says yes. Or at the very least, he offers someone else up that we can have be the prefect. So as long as one of those two things happen, we'll be fine.
how many are there?
I would say about there used to be maybe upwards of 300 or 400 just of spirit healers alone. There's probably 300 or 400 of the academy in its entirety at this point. Say 70, 75. Varying skill levels. Certainly none that are advancing through the craft as fast as you are. You are not even in official study yet. So, also certainly none that are possessing illegally gotten focuses as well. But
Well, thank you.
that seems to be a kind of like turns over and like peers over the corner of her shoulder towards the table that Gab is at. Common theme amongst your troop.
Haha. My thing. Didn't know about that.
Very well. It's better than I can say for her. Though the Arcane Zodiac also fallen. Honestly, your companion is probably one of the best bets that we have to be the next prefect of the of that school of magic at the academy. And then just from like about 10 feet away from you, just hear, absolutely not. And then just everyone kind of turns. There's no one standing there, and you just hear, oh shit. And then all this, and then all of a sudden, there's like a finger snap, and Colette just appears from the spot where the sound occurred, just kind of like flashing into existence, and just goes, sorry, absolutely not.
God, just like short circuiting.
The twins are both just like, Amaranthian looks amused and just goes, well, this will be something to talk about then, I suppose. Regardless, congratulations once again, and 2 weeks' time, right about the time of the beginning of the Harvesttide Festival, we will be in contact.
He's kind of like still stunned.
She turns towards Amaranth and turns towards the twins. With you remaining here for the time being, I am going to return to the academy and inform them of what has transpired at this point. It's just kind of like, yeah, I think we'll probably wait that one out. But don't worry, you got it. Amaranth just kind of gives them a death glare before walking out. Aqua just turns towards Night and they kind of give that like thing at each other.
So, who else is in there? Is it Dad?
Most of your NPC companions are down in the main part of the tavern at this point.
I'd say I'm back. Like, he's probably like turned to them and just looking at the scroll. And then once they like leave, he's just like.
As you do that, from behind you, you just hear, it's a cute dance.
Who said it?
Cat.
Ah! I knew it too. I saw the eyebrow cock and I was like. I'll just like stuff it into my satchel and turn around, like standing straight up. Thank you.
So, prim and proper.
I tried.
Nothing like last night. So that kind of walks past you to the bar. You're the one who said it had. You're the one who said it had.
This is the actual like in-character reaction.
I was about to say you're the one who said it happened. So.
So Kai's not a virgin.
Do I look?
No, but you have.
Wow.
This is a roasting Kai session.
We're still talking about the character, not you as a person. I feel like that transcended Kai and it hit you as a person.
I took 2 emotional damage.
Anything else from you, or we good to move on?
I think I think that's it. I think table full or ramen. I think I'll probably get some sweet morning wine after that.
It's like 4 in the afternoon, but
Morning wine.
go off, I guess.
Drink what you can,
Chi, after the Lumina talk, were you still sitting outside?
Yeah, I stand up there for like an hour or 2.
After about the first hour, you would kind of feel a presence at the door, and a soft voice just.
Fuck.
The
actual
all
fuck.
over his notebook.
Just snort that? What fucking happened?
He just dumped water all over his notebook for no
Or he like
reason.
snarfed it.
Ah! Oh no, I'm so upset.
How deep does it go?
Like all the way.
You know we're not.
No, not all the way. Like, look.
You know we're not playing the don't laugh challenge here.
Oh, I was gonna say it's literally only like that page.
I know, I'm still upset.
Yeah, so you're just gonna lose a couple pages there. Sorry, bud. But T, you sense a presence. You sense a presence at the door before a soft voice just. Sitting out here and moping is not very becoming of you. Certainly not what I've come to expect. You look up and it is a tall, slender, high elf. Very, very pale alabaster skin, light blue eyes, and just straight, long, like snow white hair.
I'm not moving. I'm in thoughts. Who the fuck are you?
She kind of like chuckles at that. Nothing important.
Alright, man, help.
Kind of takes a step forward and turns back around to you. So, do you know what you're going to do now? Very grave task right out in front of you, as well as some rather unsavory people.
you know that?
I know a lot of things.
Just like rummagers stuff. Have you seen this man then?
Many times. After all, you two did live in my village. You don't get a temple constructed to you because you don't know anything.
So you just.
Yeah.
Well, do you know where he is now?
Generally, not specifically. I have spoken to my sisters, as well as to one of the other goddesses about him and the one we traveled with, as they were members of the village, and I do look after those who are sort of crazy in such a way. And so I spoke to the Raven Queen about them, about whether or not she had seen their souls wandering among those who were lost or had died. And she said that no such souls reside in the halls. In some fashion, they have to be. They are certainly dead. Whether it's because they are alive, or because their souls are trapped somewhere on this plane. Could be either or. After all, that the one you met who leads the guild cares not for the natural cycles of life and death. So it would be better for the universe as a whole if he and his companion who leads the guild I believe. No. You kind of like leans down a little and get a better look at him. As far as the power of the universe, my child will only just begin to Ask him what you want. And when you're stronger, you will be. You always have. But I'll do my best to look into more circumstance. That Necromage Chernavog is the one who holds the key to finding that which you seek. In fact, there is another in your group who seeks those who have been lost and taken by the same person.
Yes, I heard them lost a few people.
It seems your fates are bound together, and just as I look after you, my sister looks after another in your group. I look after the family of another in your group. And I look after one in your group as well, Harry. Specifically. In fact, both of my sisters each look after a member in the group.
Do you know who her sisters are?
How much did T pay attention during religion class?
She ain't done school.
I mean, like at the monastery.
What? Enough to pass.
Roll me a religion check with disadvantage.
Oh.
That's
Oh, or the sisters are?
It's a 17 and an 18.
Ooh, nice.
Minus 1.
Oh, that makes
So
sense.
16. You would know that her sisters are Shar and Selyun. Though it's infamous that while Selyun and Mistra sort of are on the same page, Shar kind of operates, yeah, like opposite of them, typically.
But I already know about
Yes.
Char.
Yes.
It was Salian looking after.
I believe Selyun is looking after your favored member among the group. A certain overzealous tiefling.
That's a word for it.
She certainly has her work cut out, though she is not the only one. After all, I do my best to help those in your group who would only spite me and speak ill of me. So we all have our challenges.
He's a particular one. For sure.
But I guess I will do my best to keep any word out for where your beloved may be. In the meantime, just continue to grow strong and do what you think needs to be done. After all, my power fades quicker and quicker every day. It's going to be your talk
Like, you got just imagine feelings anyway.
She kind of like stops at the door for a second and kind of like leans back out.
Making it sound like you're not going to be a god and I'm fucked. This doesn't continue.
These powers are starting to become less powerful as the
You have too
wheels
much to drink.
of fate and time and space slow. Someone's going to have to decide what to do with them. Should they keep turning? Or should they stop and everything be destroyed? Maybe something else?
I mean, that definitely should not be left to me. Like, why can't you? Well, your sisters, all of you, anyone other than me. But
All I can do is to exist in the world as I am now. Our power fades, the time of gods and goddesses, heroes and champions to fight ancient wars as long as these powers are in this world. That is a job for you, and for those like Sylvanus and his sister, Gabrielle, the ones chosen by my sister. That will be a terrible one, but many would give up so much to be able to choose to have fate in such a way. If not for what, then it is you're being forgiven. So, just make sure you know what you need to do. And with that, she walks away.
T just continues.
I could swear the Cockney accent was going to come out for a moment there.
You all got
Like, I
deep
heard it from the
conversations.
previous
I got
moment.
accepted into school for free.
Goddess walks
I
out.
heard you up and down, right? At least we don't spit out part of
I got mad. Henry just like, so now he's only got 5.
So, here's a poem later. Don't you worry. So, with that, eventually later at night, everyone once again begins to gather in the central portion of the tavern. Not you.
Excuse me.
Sorry. I love sitting across from you. Before we get in, let's say before we get into like any full group role playing, Rare would sit down next to you and just you all right?
Yes.
It's been a long 2 days.
It's not the longest 2 day span in a few weeks, but
No, the day before and after leaving Nightmare Nightingale were certainly up there as far as stressful goes, but still an unpleasant 2 days nonetheless.
great.
This is not complaining, as when we left, beggars can't exactly be choosers, but this is certainly not what I was expecting when we left. To find something new in a separate city. I did not imagine that we would be so quickly wrapped up into what this is becoming.
Divorce and Waterdeep.
Not wrong. After all, those were problems in cages. At least now it is the problem without the cage. I suppose one is trying to find the positives.
I think there is a cage here, but we're not the ones in the cage.
Who do you think the ones are?
Funny enough, I believe the four lords are in the cage. They're being outplayed. They were not giving all the pieces on the chessboard while they have all the pieces on their side, so I believe the lords are in a bad spot without anything to play against.
It's fair to say, I suppose. But maybe with such an open act from the guild, they can start to do more now.
That's what people would hope, but I often learned that don't
Yes, politics and all.
focus on all, don't prey on one outcome, always look at the worst outcome, be happily surprised and
Fair enough. With that, everyone who was not critically injured, short of Colette, because Colette is down there, is now kind of gathered around the.
so Phineas,
Yes.
it's hard to like remember who's like critically
Lorcan is still away.
okay.
And-
Would they have come back to me?
Yes.
Or have they gone back to Zen?
No. Yeah, he is still. All the critically injured are still upstairs, but everyone is kind of sitting around down there. If anyone would like to talk or say anything.
I don't know, I think two of us at the very least are just sink in.
I'd probably stay outside until the sun goes down, and then I'd come in and be like, I need a drink.
How you doing, Ben?
Oh, I'm here.
You sound a bit almost hoarse.
Sorry, I have to clear my throat.
What?
I don't sound like he's free at all. Just, you know,
Not yet.
lots has happened in the past few days. Lots to take in. To save my friends, and I don't even know where to. Well, I sort of. I don't know.
Maybe not those ones.
No, they're upstairs.
Then which friends are you referring to?
The friends that were protecting my home and got stolen because of it.
The Triton.
Yes.
Boyfriend.
No, his name is Cinderon and Girder, and they were taken, and I feel bad. He hasn't been here in months. He came to visit, and that's what he's greeted with. What a good impression to make.
I'm just here in the background. Gerda is supposedly his girlfriend.
No, she's not either. She's a woman who is also a friend.
Open relationship between the three.
No, no, not that there's anything wrong with that if it's consensual, but I would certainly never date Girder. As much as I
Kai from the other side, stop digging yourself deeper.
as much as I love women, she's just not my type.
Can you turn your sword into a shovel?
Does the shovel count as a simple melee weapon?
What would you like on
Roll
your
me-
gravestone?
Roll me a
Fendir?
d20. No.
Damn. Yeah, no, it just turns into a slightly different sword. He's like, get it. No, I
A
can't.
big spoon.
Anyways, all jokes aside, I don't want them to become slaves and or murdered. So I would like to take care of that as much as possible. Had a little noggin talk. And
Excuse me?
a little
What?
talk in my noggin.
So you
Thoughts?
Yes.
They're called bots.
Oh!
You just hear
Thank
like
you, Kai.
tea about to take a sip. I think I have one too, and then just starts chugging her wine.
you two going to be okay?
Have it
Just like while she's chugging her wine.
in good authority that they've been taken to the east.
To the east. To where?
The east.
The east.
That's about all I got.
You know,
It's better than nothing,
you know
but
the whole west is an ocean, so that means the whole inland for the east? Yes.
so just think of how far they can get east on
At least
foot.
you know if it's going to be above ground or below
Listen, something tells me I'm not going to be able to find them for a while, so they're just going to have to suffer, unfortunately.
ground. Unfortunately.
But found up some more information about a thing, that circle thing I was telling you guys about,
Yes.
and you need to do some asking around because those two things are.
We need to kill Shadowdog.
Yes, for sure. Something
Yes.
tells me I won't be able to do attempt to take anything up like that until I get that artifact thing sorted out.
Well, he is a leader of the guild. Using days when we were coming down waves around that.
Scum.
That's definitely.
Well,
As the four of you are kind of talking together, you hear kind of a voice approach your table and agrees with you. Just go. He is scum. You look up and there's Rax and Autumn next to her. So
Who's talking?
that was Rax that just
Okay.
agreed with T.
No, it's just I heard they were
Jingle,
standing with
jingle.
her,
Oh,
so
okay.
so I was confused. So I thought Rax and Autumn were standing with
So this probably goes without saying at this point, but well, two of us kind of helped alongside you guys as you fought the guild. So pretty sure we're next to dead in their eyes. So if your goal is to take out that scumbag who is leading them, count us in.
Take it back a step. Did you just say you were with the guild? Is that what you just inadvertently said?
No?
I think she meant the
Like if she said
They know
she
their face.
she yeah no
Okay.
she's
Okay.
no
Yeah, I
she
saw
said
that too,
no
though.
she said essentially to do this out of character, like they fought alongside you, and so the guild now looks at you, looks at them, and sees kind of connects the dots. And
Okay.
so with them now being public enemies of the guild, she said if you're going after that scumbag who is leading them, they're in.
Okay.
That's not going to be
Yeah, I
happening.
thought the exact same thing too.
That's not going to be happening any day soon, though.
Unfortunately.
But for
Yes, unfortunately, but we have to look at things.
we're saying in return to this, in exchange for maybe a place to stay up there,
I'm sorry, we
kind
don't
of
have any.
have been taking anyway. Sorry
And
about
Oh,
sorry
I'm
about
just
that.
kidding.
But in
We're really another
exchange
floor.
for that, and we can get our own drinks and stuff.
It's pretty
Yes.
cool. They
And-
keep adding beds and rooms. I can forget that.
Oh, do
I
we
think-
have a spare one in our room, Kai?
I think Sandra kind of understood what was going to happen next, but you don't have to keep paying us to do stuff. That's
Pretty down.
I've noticed. But how you paid us to come along to the temple, you don't have to do that. At this point, this is personal. So We just want to help. And besides, in case you guys didn't hear, your heroes now, so enjoy that.
You know, somebody said that. I don't know
What?
how that I don't really know how that got spread around. People didn't
And
see it.
I was to say, and with that, Cat kind of walking by just kind of stops and just goes, "You guys didn't hear? You're the whole talk of Dust Town. How
Yeah, I'm with him.
yeah, how this group of 5 people stood up to the guild and cut down an entire ocean of them in order to help some innocent people escape. Yeah, no, people.
Why did I cast Shatter?
They don't know names, but they know faces. And there's actually a couple of I was
Hey,
walk.
can you do that thing to my face? That you
I
did
was
to your body?
I was walking to the I was walking to give a report to Zenim today, and there was a minstrel singing on the bridge about the the 5 heroes of Dust Town.
So you just cracked knuckles. Let's go shut a bitch up.
My face is just dial tone.
But yeah, no, people like me and people that run Zenim and people that normal people who kind of get the shit end of the stick in Dust Town are.
Has it gone beyond Baldur's Gate?
No, I don't think so.
Beyond Dust Town.
I don't think it's gone beyond Dust Town, but you're kind of like, you're the people here who don't really have much to hope for are kind of looking at you like folk heroes now. Kind of are just like,
That's so much
Do I get a
work.
skills proficiency?
roll me a d20.
Don't do it. She's gonna trick you like she tricked me.
No.
But you didn't know it yet. You don't know where her modifier
Yeah, it's 20 off right now.
So the reaction of Syl seems
Roll
similar to
me
the reaction of
roll me a DC 35
About getting back to Walmart.
persuasion check.
Imagine they're both like
3 d20s and add them together.
but for like slightly different reasons, but also kind of similar.
So,
So you just stay out of Dust Town with it.
We sort of live here, so.
I mean, if anything,
I don't exactly blend in.
it's also not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you guys are doing what a lot of people, you guys are standing up to the guild. It's not something that a lot of people, have the guts or the means to do, and you guys are doing this thing that so many people want. It's something to hope for a lot of people who don't have hope for a lot of stuff.
But you
So.
see, that means the guild is going, where would this target look nice? On their back?
I'm also not even from Baldur's Gate, or
I
even
mean-
from this district.
And the
To
target,
be-
might, the target might have only been this way, but it's getting bigger every time someone sings a vibe.
I don't have a big enough back for this!
To be fair, you guys came face to face with the person who leads the guild, and when you teleport an entire group of people who he was looking to capture out from under his nose, it's kind of like just giving the middle finger as you run away, as you also kill all of the people who work for him. So, no offense meant, but the target thing was kind of already there. If anything, I think this is just giving you maybe, more allies, more people who are going to be looking out for
Got
you.
shooters in our corner.
Maybe I don't know. If anything, I feel like it would be harder now for the guild to make a move on you, because I feel like
We wouldn't go as easily on this. That's
Ex-
that what you think?
exactly. And if somebody catches wind of something bad that's gonna happen, like like a sneak attack in the middle of the night, you're probably more likely to get warned now if someone catches wind of it. And also, I mean, the guild isn't exactly the kind to operate when, a group of people is surrounded by cheering, adoring fans. It's not really their MO to just storm down the street and slaughter a bunch of people.
Why then?
I think people would have heard about it if you didn't.
We heard from a mile in every direction.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, it is what it is. Rex and Autumn kind of bow and walk away. Their part kind of having been said. Cat kind of turns towards you. I mean, I don't really need to repeat what they said. I'm with you.
Well, I came here for the academy and to make some money.
Stay
And
for
now
the
here I
women.
am.
I mean, to be fair, you did both those things. You just seem to be a fan of extracurricular activities.
Who says well? Well,
Hey, I mean, you didn't plan to become a folk hero. I didn't plan to, you know, take up my role as Imperial Princess and lead a brigade of soldiers down through Bright Vein Valley, but hey, here we are. It's happened. Walks away. Next to approach you is
That's a cheated question.
the twins also approach you, expressing like a similar kind of thing of, you know, probably be Knight who would say it. She's very headstrong. She'd be like, so, you guys are going after the guild, right?
Oh, for sure, yes.
Apparently.
Cool, because they killed 2 of our prefects, and no offense, but that bitch with the cloak who leads them, I'd kind of like to gut him and then hang him by his entrails.
Yeah, churn butter? Yeah.
Yep,
I didn't laugh.
Churn butter.
I like that.
Turn
But,
his inside.
Yeah, when you
What, I'm
go,
not supposed to say that.
I'll use my stuff.
no, when you go to turn his when you go to turn his insides into outsides, just an invite would be nice.
It's a date.
Yeah. And if you need anything from the academy, just say the word. We can probably make it happen. And if it's something that's a little too much to ask, then well, we can probably look the other way.
What about the scrying spell?
Scrying spell? Might be able to find.
Or sending.
Well,
Might be able to find someone who can operate.
he apparently now has 4 of our own. And if we could find where they are, we'll find where he is.
And also have some people like it.
I think we actually have a scroll of scrying. You should let us look into that and probably be able to.
It's sending. Anything else? Do you just know anybody who can cast it?
Not personally, no. But scrying. Scrying though, after the first day of the festival, when it comes to like the nighttime of the first day of the festival, sneak up to the academy and we can kind of see if we can get in there and use that.
Oh, yes. One of the races that's accepted by the academy.
I love Kai.
Guys, you probably hear Kai like bragging about his acceptance into the academy from like the other
Hey,
side.
He's got pasta that doesn't particularly
I mean-
doesn't care so much.
Well, you know, the academy still cares quite a bit.
Never
It's
mind.
very rare that a tiefling is allowed in, and honestly, tiefling is still above Ganassi and Ferox on the
Take it down the pyramid?
on the shit list. So no, they still wouldn't let anyone like that in. But to be fair, we are kind of sneaking in and permanently borrowing a scroll of scrying without asking. So I don't think your race is gonna pose much of an issue.
Alright.
We don't want anyone to see you to begin with. Whether you could be an elf and we still wouldn't want anyone to see you, so she kind of like gestures at her ears as she does that. And also, still standing there, you can see Kat kind of like... Please, roll an insight check.
No, if you keep getting people to come up to us singing any praises, there's not going to be enough alcohol in the bar that's going to get us that drunk.
Oh no, we're going to have to go on another creepy mission to get more for something.
Yes, exactly. 21.
Ooh, nice roll. Lean in.
Fine, huh?
Talk amongst yourselves.
Jeez.
Tea.
Otherwise.
So, where? So you know how the drow lady exactly put nice words at her direction, and the dragon boy. You said you sent them somewhere, right? You told them a place to go.
I didn't realize my name was T.
You're the one who swapped them out.
I need to send them a letter.
And you send them to your friend in
I sent them to a... Quite complicated.
No, she cast detect magic.
Letter
to
to
heal
You need
That's
to
like
send them
a
in a
group of
copy.
people
Yes.
Okay. Am I writing this down for you?
No.
You're right.
There's no idea.
Yes.
Alright, so coming back after whisper, secret,
Is he going to
secrets.
like, get us now?
No, I'll do it later.
Okay. What I mean is, you're gonna give it to like Syl.
Yeah,
Oh.
he would give it to Syl at that time.
Okay.
So strappy.
Is
That's like a Weiss season 7 outfit right there.
right?
Yeah.
Is Sandra here?
Sandra? Yes, actually. This is the last conversation we do before break. Sandra kind of like walks in after a bit and kind of leans there. The last thing that would happen before, so you would have gotten the twins, you would have gotten Brax and Autumn. Luna has already kind of made her pact to stick by Arwen. Cat sticking by you. Rare is obviously sticking with you. Twy would have come up to you and just been like, so.
Me?
No,
Oh,
Twy
okay,
would have come
alright.
to all of you. It would have just been like, so. Ben and I had a long talk, and there's something that we're gonna need to do down the road together, I think.
Yeah.
Fen, you.
At the end.
This is Twy talking.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Colette, and I got
I was
really
gonna say
confused.
no. Remember that huge heart to heart?
Yeah, sorry. No, I thought it was Colette.
Yeah,
I was
Twy. Twy is just like, so Ben and I had a long talk about something different, and so I'll be sticking around for a little bit because it's something that we're gonna have to do. But as far as it seems like the guild and that and the fuck who's leading them. I want revenge. And I can't say this for certain, but as well as I know my brother, I think he's gonna probably be a little bit pissed off at the position that they've left him in as well. So whenever you, yes.
There's possibly.
But with that, you actually, at that moment, there is footsteps coming down the stairs, and you can actually see a tired but at least standing and walking looking Nox, as there is like just a white bandage like right here.
Left row?
Spell.
Yeah, but it's still not ideal. And like upon seeing it, she just kind of like, you can see like the like fury building in her eyes, and it's just like, whenever you need help with that, just let us know, because I'd like to kill it.
Sorry, I almost. That was rude.
She's giving a Demetra speech. Kill everyone.
I was gonna say, it looks like he's gonna.
Is he going to make an Eternal Flame reference?
No, she's no, he's almost armed and dangerous. I love that after the when I gave like the status update on the Ruby teams after the 3rd season, it was like Team Ruby armed, Keck, and dangerous.
He's been designed.
But no. And upon seeing that, as she kind of like leaves, Kat is just like, she leaves her side for a second and goes, actually, I have an idea about something, and kind of goes over and starts talking to Nox about something. But with that, Sandra is there in the bar and kind of like walks up to all of you and kind of gives a nod.
We're gonna need I believe, 2 rounds of drink. You say the very least.
That can be provided. Probably. You also notice she still has her she's still in her her outfit that she wore out. Her sort of like very eclectic looking armor pieces that she has. And her weapons are also on her hips, and she's like, consider it on the house, probably deserved what you've been going through, and I'll let one of the rounds be an apology for some of the things that I might not have been the most forthcoming about.
Also, I need to have a letter mailed.
To whom?
A woman by the name of Eileen in Waterdeep. I know her address.
Alright, that can be done.
Here's the letter.
Oh, thank you.
Don't read it.
Make a history check with advantage.
But the DM gets to read it.
What is the letter? Who's the letter to?
Sev.
I rolled a 17.
I hope I got her name right.
So that's gonna be.
The drow lady.
Yeah. This is the one that worked at the fishery, right?
No, this is the one that I said mean things to in the sewers.
Oh, that's right.
also write down another thing with the address.
Yeah.
23.
Yes, you would know Eileen as the chief of the guard of Nightingale Estate. She is a terrifyingly strong-looking wolf ferox woman. Oh, indeed.
Sorry, I had my feet like pressed up against like the sharp
So-
part of like the chair.
She would say, yeah, of course, accept any letter that you would give. Is there anything else that you would ask of me while I'm here?
Draxia.
Yes, Adraxia. The name was on here. I didn't see the name at first.
Well, I found it. I take notes.
I
Proud
wrote
of you.
it on something and I think I erased it.
Unless one of these three needs something.
Do we all see that she has an instrument now?
Yes, and not only do you see that she has an instrument, but there are in the hilts of the pommel, like the very tip of the pommel of each of them, is inlaid one of the crescent stone shapes, and then towards the guard of the sword is where the circular shape is, and she has a gem that is like on the sword that is like the faintest bit of blue, but mostly like yellows and oranges and reds. It almost looks like a seaside sunrise gem in that, and it's sort of like glowing slightly and sort of like thrumming in the weapon. And then on the sickle, the oversized sickle, is a gem that is another crescent gem, and that one is sort of like deep reds and blues and purples, and kind of looks like a seaside sunset. And that is in that one that also is glowing slightly and thrumming with power. She has them on her hips, but yeah, you would see those.
So she has two of them.
They certainly appear to be that way. The only one that is empty is the circle one. Well, if you do not have any other questions, then I will leave you to your night and to your drinks. Only thing I would ask is, you do not have any immediate things coming up, so take your time in the coming weeks, and be careful. The guild is nothing to be trifled with. Chernobog has been walking this earth for well over 250 years, so keep that in mind as you approach, and be wary of those that you're meeting that claim to align themselves with the Black Rose.
You don't really pick and choose those meetings, they kind of just show up.
I am aware, but even still, I saw the one show up specifically to aid you, it seemed, in that fight. You have heard my story previously of the Black Rose was the organization that was meant to lead what happened here 23 years ago with Baal, the resurrection of Baal's champion. That through a miscarriage of the ritual ended up being the resurrection of Baal himself in that body, and thus the casting down of Baal from the place of gods. But when all was said and done, there were only 3 people left from the original Black Rose cult that attempted that resurrection. 2 of them, one of them being Chernobog, the other is Chernobog's ally, began the guild. The other one, she has not been heard from since, to my knowledge. But it seems obviously that this new organization is trying to distance themselves maybe from their past, and while they have always attempted to support the guild, it seems those tides have now turned. Unpredictable, Little is known about them aside from their master, who I have interacted with once. I do not have a name, nor do I know who or what they are. But you were able to witness, at least momentarily, the prowess that possess when it comes to combat. I consider myself to be fairly competent in those arts. I can tell you that the figure who leads the Black Rose, I would be nothing more than a plaything for. So, just keep that in mind. Should they decide to turn on you or decide that you are no longer useful. It was very important.
We're good at making more enemies than videos.
So it would seem, but she kind of looks at your harp on your back and then looks over towards Arwen and Arwen's weapons that are picked up. You also have a knack for finding things that aren't very easy to find, so take the good with the bad, as it were. That is about all I have for you, so if there's nothing further for me, enjoy your drinks.
Thank you, we certainly shall.
She departs. Is there anything else that anyone would like to do during the night?
Tea at some point would go over and talk to me. So, I've decided, but not decided, of what I'm going to do about Alice. I've decided I'm not going to decide until I find it. And he can tell me himself if he was kidnapped or if he betrayed us, even if I have to beat it out of him.
I think that is very fair. After all, I do not have any idea whether or not what his choice of action was. He could be in the same sort of innocent bystander position as Gruff and Noel were. So, I also do not want to cast what I believe to be a good man as guilty before knowing for certain.
Something else.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure this happened, but it's gonna sound crazy.
After the last 3 weeks that I have experienced, honestly, I do not think you could have surprised me.
So I think Mr. to talk to me.
That's fucking crazy.
It's kind of cool.
I think what surprised me. That surprises me.
And
No fears. One fear.
she said that not only does she still watch after the village, even though Arena's not there anymore, she even went directly to the Raven Queen and asked her if
Suppose that's only natural.
and asked if Gruff and Noel's souls have been through there, and they haven't been. So whether or not they're alive, still debatable, but their souls are still here on this plane.
I suppose that is a good thing.
Is it?
They're not dead. Well, actually, after hearing of some of the experiments that have been conducted by Shonabog, then perhaps that maybe is not a good thing. Well, no time like the present, as they say.
Yeah. Not well, we'll just leave it there. I'm not gonna ask. Are you staying? Or...
I
Started trying to count already.
wish that I could, but I believe the village is going to need me back sooner rather than later.
I don't think you should go home alone.
She kind of like thinks for a second and then remembers like all the guards she brought with her are dead, and she's like, Well,
I mean, how long did it take you to get here?
pretty quick. It was maybe 3 days.
I can escort you there.
Then you would be the one traveling alone.
Yeah, but I don't have the phone.
And so have I.
I'm missed.
In fact, I've done it longer than you have.
Yes, but you're supposed to be leading the village background, whether or not you aren't using that responsibility or not. You're supposed to be the leader.
Technically, I have resigned, so no, I'm not.
Your grandmother would be turning in her grave.
Oh, I'm sure she is, but she can turn all she wants. She's dead. Hey, you can, next time Mistra visits you, you can tell her to tell the Raven Queen that is her problem.
I still don't think you should go alone.
Don't go alone. Take this. Hands are your own hand.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Sorry. It's a. We're not gonna get. We're not. Yo, I'm glad you get it. I'm glad you get it. Thank you for understanding my obscure references. Can look into not going alone at the very least.
I think maybe try and get it together. That way, me traveling alone.
There is there may be an escort planned, as there may be someone that there may be bad. There may be someone who I would like to take to the village for a second to maybe see if they could help track down where Carla has gone, and also perhaps spend some of their resources on some of our problems if I can. Trade some information. One of the prefects of the academy here, Amaranthine.
I think it's safe to let
That's just one of them. I don't think it could hurt.
it goes without saying that obviously she would experience the room when she gets there. But I think perhaps it might be difficult to do everyone in the village, but at the very least everyone on guard and of leadership should experience the room again.
That was a noise from Liz.
I'm just keeping up with the room.
I can say this now because the wedding has happened. But your husband has just sent me a picture from the inside of his storage unit.
Oh my god, that's where they're keeping Gruff!
Wait,
no,
what?
like my legitimate husband.
You gave unicorn.
What?
Sorry, I was talking to you and like literally just pops up and it's just like
Continue.
It might be a bit difficult to do the entire city, but I think at the very least, everyone in the guard and everyone in leadership should experience the room again.
we are already about 4 days into that plan.
Good.
Great minds think alike. That's why you are one of the best of the Russian Guard, but still, thank you for your concern, but I should get back, both for my own responsibilities, for what we're going to need to look for informing everyone else, and also to make sure that little flower that you keep in your garden is staying properly watered.
Understood.
You don't understand it.
Oh, they have a garden.
We'll tell you when.
And they will win.
It's not like Maddie said that out of character.
Is there anything else that you wanted to talk to her about, or no?
No, she would just like further express that she wants her to be safe, but that's about it.
I promise I will do my best to keep safe. But not to move me to die now. In fact, I refuse. I am too stubborn.
Good.
Bitch, me too.
I wonder if you like each other.
So, any other conversations anyone would like to have before the end of the night?
Yeah, you're mean.
I mean,
Colette just kind of looks at you. You're both mean.
No, I didn't say that character.
Oh.
Maybe I'd ask Colette a question, but like if the rest of the group like for some reason would know, it's open to them. Colette, you know, I know that you kind of see does she like oversee just the library at the academy, or like?
She oversees the library, and she's also the head tutor
Okay.
for all of the royal brat children.
Ah, good joke, good joke. I was wondering, are you perhaps familiar with the name Larla?
Stupid question.
Is she
Make an insight check.
Sorry, I didn't know if like you were well, I'm not trying to be mad. I just didn't know if she was just being like no or no, you know.
Make an insight check. Seems to be being pretty straightforward.
Oh, she just don't know. Alright.
But you can always. We have a lot of books.
Right. Oh, yes, I should. I'm going to have to give the collection a look.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Right into the mic.
Oh.
You're only
You're more than welcome to come to the library and look.
This is rather important because if I find that, then I should also be able to find out how to get to my friends, which will in turn help us all because my friends are stuck with Chernabog. So,
The people I'm looking for
I can kill a few birds with one big stone.
I think it would be good that he dies after all. Based on the current state of my house, I think my sister and I have proven ourselves fairly reasonable targets to him. So
It's time to take back some collateral.
I'd like to maybe make sure he stops living. That would be probably ideal. The only other things of note that would happen during the night would be eventually Finn would show, looking bruised and mainly sporting now an eye patch over the one side of his face as one of his eyes appears to be gone, and then a very, very bruised, still heavily bandaged looking Rain would finally at some point make his way downstairs.
spits in his drink. No.
So, Ben, are you still going to shoot him on sight?
No, I think not.
Oh, really?
Considering the fact he decided to change sides.
Conveniently. So shouldn't we then?
Despite what my suspicions may be, I should not act on them.
Okay.
I
Colette,
struggle with that too.
Colette kind of like walks up to him and just kind of crosses her arms in front of him, and he just kind of looks up and just kind of gives like a half-hearted shrug. She lifts up one hand, tussles the hair in between his horns a little bit, and then just goes back to sitting.
And so explain to me how this wasn't all your fault.
To be fair, this was happening whether or not I played a part in it. The part that I played just so happened to be warning Colette and the rest of them of what was happening before it happened. That is why we were able to cut down those who were in the process of burning her house. Though, I suppose part of it is my fault for overestimating my cleverness. Apparently, the full force invasion that you saw in the basin was simply proof of how expectant Chernabog and the rest of the higher-ups in the guild were that I was planning an escape. So, there you are now. That part is my apology, as I hadn't known that they were so ready for my leave. Well, as I'm sure I don't exactly like to be gutted for fun.
Alright. Sure. Okay.
Get out. I hate you and everything you stand for.
If it wasn't for the fact
Only like Kai.
I don't know. I was gonna go for it, but then
Is there
I
any
heard
other-
the sigh and then
Any other questions from anyone?
I mean, see, we have like miscellaneous talks with Amina throughout the night of like, how's so and so doing? How's this person doing?
Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so with that then, we're going to go to break. During our 10 to 15 minute break we'll be taking, just tell me at some point, we're going to kind of fast play the next 2 weeks leading up to the start of the festival. So just tell me what your character would be up to. We'll do some rolls when we get back and see if you are successful in what you're doing or not. But yeah, aside from that, pretty much it. So just think about for a minute or two what you would like to do, and get back to me. We'll see you in 10 to 15 minutes. So take a quick break. Be right back with you. Thanks for sticking around. Bye.
Hello, and welcome back to the Unlucky Few, where you get to see the looks of wonder and excitement at getting to hang out with all of our friends on the face of the two people who are the current DMs for this friend group. Man, that's amazing, isn't it?
We do.
Are
Don't
you
worry.
two okay?
No.
Are you two ever okay?
No.
Pat, can you please take the single brain cell that is out of your head and give it back to Maddie so she can function for a goddamn second?
Why do
Thanks.
Hi.
Oh my god.
newspaper.
Oi, just the boy I was looking for. I needed my chimney swept out. Alright, so,
I want to go home.
yeah, you and me both. Welcome back. Thanks. This is great. This is professional. This is wonderful. So, while everyone was gone, Cool. We'll just go back to at least having music. That'll make it sound great. So, Ben. Over the next 2 weeks, prior to the beginning of the Harvesttide Festival, you kind of have some downtime to yourself. You said you were running your library, attempting to make money, and also researching. You looking through the libraries?
Yeah, I would probably check my own stuff too, because like maybe there's something I've never thought of. But
Make as a show of good faith, Twy and Knox will be giving you help with this, so make an investigation check for the 2 weeks with advantage. Is that a natural
it was
one?
a 2.
So you don't have to use the 2.
Who's doing this?
14 total.
14 total. Get back to you. Kai, what are you doing? Of course, the 2 weeks that you have for downtime.
Probably say
As I had said previously, people would inform me that there were some like nice-ish clothes that you could get for up in the nicer portions of town. But if you wanted something particularly nice at a reasonable price, that you should wait till the start of the festival, as the festival is the 2 months. Essentially, the festival lasts for 2 months, as it starts on Harvesttide. And Harvesttide occurs in between the months of I'm not going to go with their actual names. I'm going to go with their common names. The Fading and Leaf Fall. So that is the 9th and 10th month. You can kind of imagine where it occurs. And then between after Leaf Fall, it comes the Rotting, followed by the Drawing Down, which are the 11th and 12th months. And in between those 2 months is the Feast of the Moon, which is when the Grand Feast and the Ball is held. And so the festival kind of leads up towards that. So it is a 2-month-long festival, not necessarily like a Mardi Gras non-stop party, but there's a lot of vendors, there's a lot of food, there's a lot of drink, there's a lot of goods. There's more entertainment at nights. In between September and October is where Harvesttide is. In between November and December is where the ball is. And there is also supposed to be some sort of contest associated with the festival this year, because One of the other major summers that the Sword Coast celebrates is Midsummer, which occurs in between is in between summertide and high sun, so essentially in between July and August. And every 4 years, there is a sort of leap day that occurs after the day after immediately following the midsummer holiday, called Shieldsmeet, which is where a lot of the lords of the Sword Coast Coalition meet together in one city this year. They have not done it in recent years, but this year is like one of the first years they're reinstating it. It is the first in 40 years, and there is meant to be Bastion actually mentioned this to you, Bastion Brightbane, Grand Duke, that he thought you would do well in it because it is a grand tournament that is held during the Shield Meet, and there are very rich prizes to the winners, as well as like a lot of honor that goes along with it. But this is meant to be with it being the first in 40 years, it is a really, really important event coming up, so it's meant to be a contest, kind of like a precursor to that as well. But long story short, you would be instructed that like probably wait to buy your clothes until the festival starts. It's kind of like think like a farmer's market, but like a non-stop farmer's market for more than just food for like 2 months. So, what would you like to do aside from just odd jobs then?
Yeah.
Right. Kat would give you a hand when she could, so make a roll with advantage, and I will say, whatever your roll is, add your charisma modifier to, and you earn that many gold pieces.
You're pretty good with charisma modifier.
If you roll a nat 20, you get double.
So 18.
18?
I make 18 gold in
Make
2 weeks.
18 gold. Oh, also, all of you get paid 50 gold pieces for completing the job for.
I forgot about that.
For.
Math.
I might grab that.
For Duke Yannick and Duchess Belen Stelmane. Hi, remember my NPC's names.
What's Giannis name?
Yannick.
Spell it?
Janic.
From the library.
People appreciate like taking out the books, but then it's just like it's a library, so they don't really pay to borrow books.
Yeah, well, sometimes I would imagine people would buy them, but it's not often, so it's hit or miss. But still 50 gold richer than I was before. No, you're thinking of the other big job that we got offered to do or something.
That's not the same.
That was like exclusive.
Yeah, because he gave you you got purses of 250 gold pieces for this one, and then you got your bonus gold to spend on hiring people, and you did. But he said that if he would eventually have another job for you, and if you took it for Grand Duke and Bright Bane, he would give you a 10 times pay increase and give you a purse of 2,500 gold pieces. Which is what, 500 per person. Let's do it. You have some gold, which is good. Next up, so what are you doing?
I think you'll ask around before you figure out who's going to be.
So yeah, continue. Sorry.
He's going to find out if there's any two families that are arriving there at Baldur's Gate, which is Jail and Strike.
Yep. Anything else?
I mean, if any NPCs, like I know like one or two have mentioned they might be in for something, so because I know the twins mentioned at one point.
Yes, and they would pull you aside for something, and then any of the other NPCs would help you kind of ask around. Funny enough, when you're looking for your family and stuff, Autumn and Rax volunteer to go with you to help out their investigation check. They also seem interested in the tournament too.
Okay. Give me a roll for this.
Investigation with advantage.
Oh, I actually have a pretty good modifier for that. Roll. 9.
9 total?
That's one plus 4 as well.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I rolled a 3 and a 5.
Alright, so,
I really had to roll rolls for the skills.
Alright, I'll allow you to pick one. Do you want to find out stuff about the family, or do you want to find stuff about the tournament? Your choice of one of the two. So I'll borrow my D2.
That was families.
Families. As setting up a sort of general store, will
One person with a key.
I know.
setting up a sort of general store will be none other than. Oh, you brought us all food. Love those.
Very fun. Sounds you really enjoy.
So, one of the general store setups will be provided and run by Nightingale Imports. So the members of your family there. You would also find, curiously enough, that the Star Meadow House is sort of stagnating politically at the moment, due to a lack of activity from the three Star Meadow children.
How old are the children and why they're stagnating? Like, why are they not doing anything?
No one has just seen them around for a while. It is, there's like a slew of excuses coming out of the heads of the households, like, oh, they're, there's two of them that are younger, and another one that was around your age that you were, yeah. So they just say that the younger ones are off studying at some sort of college, and the older one is just kind of like hiding away as the thought of her betrothed running away at the thought of marrying her has put her to such shame that she does not want to see her public. But they will not be making a public appearance.
Okay. And as soon as he finds out there's a Nightingale Imports, he's going to. You're welcome.
I will have a map for you next time, so you can see exactly where Nightingale Imports will be setting up if you wish to avoid it.
No, that's fine. I was going to say if there is a person that seems very ice cream-like, he's going to avoid like a 20-mile radius from it. If there's anyone ice cream,
Art ice cream.
get your mind over there.
Are you making lactose intolerance
What
jokes?
specific
What is
ice cream are you looking for?
Mother.
Got you. And then what's your insight modifier? Roll me an insight check just for funsies. 18. Alright. Anything else you want to do? You're unfortunately not able to find much about the tournament. It seems that everything is being kept kind of under lock and key.
You just figure out like who is there at imports to figure out like how to import it.
Alright. I would say with your investigation roll, you can't get specifics. Anything else? T.
I would spend every second I could with Nina before she leaves. Make her promise me to send a letter the second she gets home.
T.
If I heard anything about the tournament, I would try and find out more about the tournament, especially
Which one? The contest that is happening as part of the Harvest Tide Festival, or the Grand Tourney that is supposed to be part of the Shield Meet?
both, but more so can I enter and can I make gold off of it type of deal.
Got you. Roll me an investigation check with let's see, who would be hanging out with you?
What are you?
Actually, Gab is.
Just kidding.
Gab, I would call that. Gab is a little busy with her responsibilities now as a proper member of the academy. So yeah, Colette would be kind of assisting you because Colette is like in the know enough to know that there's going to be like a grand tourney, but still is like comes to a little bit pissed off at like, fuck those guys, we're gonna find out. Nope, not that one.
And what is it? Investigation?
Yep.
So 11.
Alright, so which one do you, just like so, do you want to find out about the one that's happening at the Grand Tourney, or do you want to find out about the contest that's happening in the next week or so?
The one that's more eminent.
The one that's more eminent?
Yeah.
Right. So you're able to find out that in order to prep for the Grand Tourney and other things and kind of raise the morale, there is to be a contest of sorts. That will be a one-on-one physical combat only style tournament, where it seems that some of the mages at the academy have developed some sort of device that you can wear that sort of breaks after it absorbs a amount of abuse equal to a portion of your natural constitution. So that no one actually gets hurt in it, and that there are like modified wooden versions of weapons that people will be using to fight with, so that no one actually dies.
And can just anyone enter?
Seems to be open, though entries do not begin until the festival starts. Oh, and I will say with that one, since you are not learning anything at the Grand Tourney, there is some sort of prize associated with it. And especially seeing as how, depending on how many people enter, they're either going to have a tournament of 16 or 32. And it will be fought over the course of the 2 months, aside from the finals, which will be fought as one of the main entertainments on stage during the ball. So during like the right before the feast will be kind of like up on a raised platform, the finals, and then the winner of the finals will get a lavish prize and adored by all.
Taking that part of it, but it's still interesting enough to probably do it. The rest of the time she would just spend seeing her newfound popularity, asking everyone to see the man in her poster and then like training like
I would say you definitely find some people who are definitely like sort of either pro guild or guild members, as like you show them the poster and they kind of like there's like a brief look of recognition or like a glaring, and they're just like nope, and then as soon as you go to leave them they just like run somewhere else. Yeah. For the most part, you don't learn much information aside from, because at this point you have some pretty steady leads on Gruff at this point, about like the most concrete stuff that you've had up to this point. But yeah, I would say all of you that are wandering around though do notice that there are people who kind of like look at you and kind of like whisper, and like you don't, at least in Dusttown, like you really don't incur any bad looks of anything anymore. People kind of like, or they'll like come up and they'll like bow to you. Some people like kind of move out of the way and allow you to like walk past them.
If I get a politeness battle,
odd.
that's my
If I just absolutely revels in it the entire time.
Yeah, and since you all have still failed to come up with a group name for yourself, you are just collectively being referred to as the Heroes of Dusttown.
Well, what would we call ourselves?
The Dusty Heroes.
I was literally gonna say that.
No! Hard no!
Yeah, no.
Never.
5 minutes of the baby. The baby being the bread.
I thought you meant
Oh,
So, 2 weeks go by, and all of you awake one morning. It is... Yesterday was the very last day of Leaves Fall, but today is not the first day of the new month. Today is instead
harvest time. Festival begins today. You wake up feeling refreshed in your beds. Your sewn together family, sworn together by common enemies, vengeance,
And a lot of alcohol.
perhaps the beginnings of a desire to care about the fates of one another. You all come to on a morning where you do not have any specific goal in mind, so the day is yours. What would you like to do?
Start off the day how as we always do. A little bit of day drinking.
Oh,
Is it like the first day of the festival?
Breakfast and day drinking.
festival begins this morning. Kicks off at not sunrise exactly, because that would be a little excessive, but it'll ramp up over the course of the day into tonight. There was like a carnival troupe coming in to perform.
Get up early, meditate, do some morning exercises, and then just like, well, I'm going to enter into the tournament, and then just go.
I have absolutely one concert. We just like doing yoga.
What?
Or the contest.
You might. Okay. T is going to enter into the contest because she knows what that is.
I'm gonna go out and find out which order enter also.
So are you accompanying T?
I'll enter into anything that can get me money, and I think I can do.
What are you two up to? I'm saying Arlen tags along. Three of you at least.
Probably walk around.
I guess I'll look for some fun rare books.
Yeah, we can go shopping together.
Yeah, I'm looking for like kooky books. Like, you know how you have the 14 sonnets for the Eladrin, and they were all about women. He's looking for weird books like that.
What?
Just commenting on every other tournament that we've been in D&D has never gotten past the first round, and I'm thinking like, well, it is 2 months, that's a long time.
Bound to win one of them.
We're not bound to finish one of them. If you remember, the tournament for Zenario was just a setup for bad shit to happen.
It was cool.
It was cool, but I would have liked to finish the tournament.
I wanted to
What am I
win!
money?
Just once. Just once.
I mean, technically, didn't Fendian win that? The magic one? Except Fendian won.
No, we didn't get to finish because Theo was about to fight Soul, and then
You know what?
someone's dead leader teacher came from
Well,
Afar.
sorry.
Regardless,
Hey, I'll take things that aren't this campaign for 400. So, moving on, we'll start with you guys and Arwen. You go towards, there is a very large tent being constructed where it seems the carnival will take place tonight. That is where signers up for the Trials of Strength, that's the name of the contest happening, are taking place. So there are signups there, and as you kind of make your way inside the tent, it seems that like above ground there are members of the royal house kind of there helping to sign some people up. You even see kind of like serving as the arms master for the Trials of Strength, you recognize a familiar face in Lucian, kind of taking command of that, who kind of like, upon seeing you, kind of like waves over to you, a genuine smile on your face, or on his face rather. Yes. And on the other side, you can see as people start entering into the tournament, there is there's some gambling going on, some different like, gambling games and stuff, some cards, some dice. And as more and more people enter into the tournament, there is also like bets beginning on different fights, on different potential winners and things like that. People are starting to put some gold down, and that seems to be a bit more illicit. Though the member of the Royal Guard, kind of like seeing this, just kind of look over and are just like.
Is it?
Also, sorry, breaking character for 1 second. Fuck, that shit smells so good. I am dying right now. I'm so hungry. Oh my god.
I can't smell anything.
I've definitely been through my nose the whole time, like.
It just hit me, and I was like, my stomach was just like, bitch.
Do we know now, like, for sure, if that, like, the trial of strength, is that, like they were saying it's a bracelet, it's basically, like, deals all damage until it breaks, because, like...
The one that was like the final
It's not a bracelet. It almost seems like it is a, like some sort of enchanted wooden-based harness that kind of goes, like, straps along your, along your torso, and then kind of also has, like,
bracers and greaves that attach to it too,
So
and kind of like
hear me
goes over all parts of your body.
So hear me out. I'm not
Yes.
trying to make a joke on this, but to give like an image, like the laser tag, like harness set up.
A little bit, yeah, but like specifically meant to like it seems to be connected in such a way that if one piece breaks, it would all come apart. And there's like a piece that connects the torso, there's a piece that are on the arms that run like both parts of the arms that connect up, there's pieces that run both parts of the legs that kind of connect up, and then there's like things that go along the side of the neck up to the ears and then kind of form like a circlet to kind of track like, you know, you get bashed in the face by something.
But will I still be able to do like my monkey shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? From monkey shit. You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
So like it's still worth it for me to enter. It's not like technically strength. It's just like.
Fighting prowess.
no, it's just called the Trials of Strength.
Okay. All right. Cool.
It's not like, fuck your
He looks
dexterity
at my
stat.
20 dexterity. Looks at my 12 strength.
Bear in mind. Is that the only?
No, and among like the wood, and among like the wooden like makeshift like the wooden custom weapons that you're using for it, you would see like all the ones that you can use displayed. There is like wooden flail, wooden mace, wooden longsword, wooden greatsword, wooden daggers. You can see obviously a wooden like bow staff. So things we're familiar with.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely entering.
And what is the other?
I can't enter because I'm only proficient with my attack.
Lucian would come up to you and just, are you entering into the Trials of Strength?
I like to hear what the other one is first.
The other one.
I was
Oh, you mean the Grand Tourney that will be taking place
Yes.
during the Shields meet after. I'm an idiot. Your DM is Midsummer. Bam.
Yes.
After Midsummer. Well, it is meant to be a little bit of a. Yeah, that's gonna be the festival theme. I like that.
Okay. Very like wind waker.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, Lucian would kind of look over and just. The details of it are supposed to be a little bit of a secret, but I suppose what could it hurt for the heroes of Dufftown? Oh, just in case you hadn't gotten back any sort of response or had not heard from her, he's addressing this to you. I was in charge of the guard that was to escort Lady Lumina as well as Lady Emma being back to the monastery, and there were an utter lack of issues both on the road there and the road back. A few stray monsters here and there, but nothing that I couldn't handle, and certainly nothing that your friend's companion couldn't handle either. She seems to be more than capable of handling herself in combat. I think it would take something fairly extraordinary to bring her down, but just wanted to let you know that she did return safe. So, kind of the two of you, and Arwen is also just like kind of was like going off to the gambling, but then saw secrets happening and was just like. Meanwhile, like kind of like running up alongside Arwen is starting to get a little bit taller. It's your wormling baby, kind of like flies a little bit, kind of like starts running.
Do I have
Yes, you do.
Okay, then I was like,
What?
I was like,
Looks up to you and just. And she says that in the language here.
sounded like yep to me.
Except now that you do speak Draconic, you would just like, you would hear that, and then you would get like an image of like your face, and then Arwen's face, and then like a really nice pretty like blue color, and then just kind of like keep running next to you. It's kind of like beginning the stages of communicating pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would like kind of like lead you off to a side of the tent, kind of like full length, and step outside of the tent to the outside to be like, so, the Grand Tourney that is to take place in about 9 or 10 months time. So, there is to be, I believe, 20 full. No. He pulls out like some notes from his inside of his pocket. There is to be 25 teams that join the Grand Tournament. Not exactly. No. It is more grand than that. Actually, to be easy if I have.
Some parties of
So this is actually on Mino.
Hi.
So, there will be 25 teams joining. Teams are of 6, sort of. As it is normally teams of 6, and you fight each other until there is one remaining standing. But we wanted to do something special for this one. What will happen instead is each team will be comprised of a team A of 6 and a team B of 6 more. 12 total, but must be split 6 and 6, and once you split, those are the splits that must remain. And so what will happen is, along with the help of a certain Ferox that we all know and love, she is your landlord, we are constructing a coliseum for this, and it will be grand, and imagine it's split sort of right down the path. So 6 of you will enter one semicircle, the other 6 will enter the other semicircle, and the middle part that you are in, without affecting your gravity somehow, will spin, so that people who are watching can watch you, and then see the others come into view, and then see you come back into view, so that everyone gets a view of everything. And you will be fighting some sort of neutral party, is how we will call it. Beasts, monsters, monstrosities. And if you emerge victorious, and your group emerges victorious, then both of you continue on to the next round, and we will do that until there are only 2 teams left. When there are 2 teams left, then essentially you will pick the 6 best that you have, and it will be a 6-on-6 combat until it is called off. That will be team versus team, and then they will fight until one is no more. And as someone falls on your team, that is when you will bring in kind of like a substitute from the 6 that are on the bench, so to speak. And so you will fight until one team runs out of members after 23 other teams have fallen to the monsters. But keep in mind, if you have your team A and your team A wins and your team B loses, you do move on to the next round, but your team A then is released into the arena and the walls drop, and you fight all the monsters meant for team A and team B at once as a team of 6. So it is essentially a death wish if one of your teams does drop. The other thing, though, important to know is there is a buy-in for the tournament per team. Not per team as in 6, but per team as in the overall team of 12. The buy-in is 50 platinum. 500 gold pieces. So, 500 gold pieces times the 25 teams gives you a prize pool of 12,500 gold pieces, or 1,250 platinum. The Royal House of Brightbane is matching that tit for tat. So the grand prize pool for the winner and the well, actually, if you finish in second place, you will get a prize of a compensatory prize of an additional, we're providing 500 platinum. But for the winners, winner take all. The winner will be receiving 2,500 platinum pieces or 25,000 gold pieces.
Maybe like salivating.
So a steep buy-in, but if you believe that you and your friends possess the skills necessary to win, I mean, even split 12 ways, that is still a little north of 2,000 gold pieces per person, which is not a bad payday. enough to get yourself a nice little abode in the market district, even. So certainly nothing to see with that.
when is the time?
When is the buy-in due by? The buy-in is not due until... Well, actually, we're expecting this to be a pretty popular thing to enter. So the only day to sign up will be during the Midsummer Festival, during the Midsummer Feast. At the start of the feast, it will be announced that signups have begun and a line will form at a place to be determined. And if you are one of the first ones in line and you have the coin, then you're in. That said, we will vet a little bit the seriousness of the entry, as just because you have 12 living people and you're second in line and you have the coin, if it is abundantly clear to me that I could single-handedly tear apart your entire group of 12 people, then best to give them the coin back and save them the embarrassment. Yeah, there's to be many of the great lords from Baldur's Gate to watch this, as well as many of its citizens, as well as the Shieldmead itself is meant to host all the lords of Baldur's Gate. Waterdeep, the lords of Neverwinter, Silvery Moon, several other towns and cities located all along the Sword Coast that will be attending at this. So we actually expect this Coliseum to, at this point, hold no less than 15,000 people. So yes, it will be quite a grand event.
Perfect.
Any further questions?
Well, about signing up for Congress.
Oh, feel free if you would like. It is this one is free, though there is sole prize for the winner. Would you also like to sign up?
How much is the price for a contest to sign?
Well, it is a bit of a unique prize, rather. We have a a small purse, a treasure, and a choice. The small purse is what some may call measly 50 gold pieces. The treasure is a rare ruby that has been held by the royal family of Baldur's Gate. It's been valued at about 1,500 gold pieces. And the treasure is, are you aware that there is a sort of an arcane armory of sorts possessed by the Academy? It hosts all sorts of rare, valuable magic items. Your choice is one choice of any item in the vault. Simple enough, yes? Arwen is also just like, yes. Well, three of you can make your way over to the table. There's just two people I have to get signed up before you, and I will be more than happy. It appears the field will be 32, as it were now, but all of you are certainly well within the time frame to enter, so congratulations. We'll go back. He goes up to the table that he was previously stationed at and kind of sits down and starts just going through a few things with the two people who are standing there. They kind of let one go before the other. One is a gruff and buff looking male dwarf. Sorry. Just kind of like a rough and tumble, but like very, very sturdily built male dwarf. Kind of like long beard. Why am I trying to do this without looking at my stuff? It's because I'm an idiot, that's why. So like about 4'10", a little bit taller than your average dwarf, though very stockily and strongly built. Hazel-colored eyes, golden tanned, like well-weathered skin. Looks a little bit like about middle-aged for a dwarf, which is racking up a fair number of years at that point. And brown hair that's kind of like around shoulder length, and a beard that's sort of like braided down to about mid-chest. He enters. He's kind of like nodding at a couple things. They like
gesture over towards the wall, and he kind of like takes a look around before grabbing like a wooden replica of like a large maul, kind of like tests it in his hand before kind of nodding to Leech and putting it back. The person behind him is yeah, very super.
So like magic's definitely not right.
No, is a female dragon girl. She's kind of like faced away from you as of now. She's a little on the shorter side, about 5'3" or 5'4". Looks like kind of curvy, well built, a little bit strong. Kind of like a creamy colored skin, kind of like some reddish blushes to it, and kind of see like a little bit of like the red scaling on like the forearms that are exposed, and kind of like the tops of the hands that are exposed, along with like running right along the neck, as well as the horns that kind of like. Let's see if I actually have it on. I keep having all my pictures in more than one place. God, I love this music. I just not able to find it. I'm gonna feel real bad. Nope, found it. She kind of has like very unique looking horns, in that there is like part of them kind of like come up like this, kind of like right off the front of her head, and there's another a little bit, and then there's like another piece. They kind of like are centered here, and part of it goes kind of curved up. A second part kind of like comes back towards this part of the head and kind of curve up and in like this, and then a final part kind of come around and down, kind of like almost like a moon, like when you see like a man on the moon sitting like that. Yeah. So kind of like up and then like around and back and then down near here. What? No, not.
That's like.
No, they're definitely. I was going to say, yeah, they're definitely fairly intense, but still has like kind of like longer like braided, like blonde hair that's like really nicely braided around the horns. That like really works for it. The horns are like kind of like a really dark kind of like almost black but still tinted red color. Just kind of like facing away from you, and this like the skin is kind of like creamy, but like creamy with like blush almost. She's kind of like facing away from you. Still has like the tipped ears and the things and everything. She just kind of like stands there waiting her turn to get signed up.
I think to make sure our little friend is in their clothes and trouble, if you remember the picture of like when I hold Tulip, kind of like holding a dragon bite the same way. Huge St. Bernard.
Yes. Yeah, you kind of like gather her into your arms. It squeaks a lot. You kind of draw like a couple looks. The dragon carved in front of you kind of like looks back over her shoulder, not enough to like that you see her eyes, but like enough that like kind of like looks questioningly and then kind of like goes about her business. The dwarf finishes signing up. She kind of steps up. They kind of go over a couple questions. She kind of walks, like takes a few steps over to the wall of weapons and kind of instinctually reaches for a long sword before kind of stopping herself, and then just kind of like thinking. Kind of like goes to reach for it again and then stops and grabs the great sword off the wall and kind of like brings that over, and it's like probably about almost a 6 foot long great sword, so it's easily like about 8 inches taller than she is, and she definitely does not necessarily look like strength is her greatest like asset, but she kind of like presents it. Lucian even gives kind of like a look to it, sort of lets it happen. She continues signing up.
upon finishing, the dwarf is like waiting off to the side for her. Upon finishing, she kind of gives a small bow to Lucian, kind of turns around, stops, kind of like surveys your party, kind of like looks you all over, stops for a second, kind of gives a nod to all of you before walking off. You notice the eye color is very peculiar. You would be familiar with this because of your wonderful Friendian rune. But she has heterochromia. The left eye is like a bright emerald green, and the right eye is like a kind of like pale with gold flecks sort of pink. What?
Poem senses.
Kind of like makes eye contact with you and gives you a nod, and on the kind of almost like walks past you and then stops next to you before turning and scratching the top of the dragon's head.
I would say it's
It's literally it's a dog. It's like taking a dog to the park. It's like taking a dog to the park.
You literally have a puppy to pick up chicks.
How's it feel?
They're not rare, so does it even matter?
I was just saying the long way. You gotta get under someone else to get over rare.
Woo!
I just find it funny that all the NPCs, so it's going on with Poly Romance are.
You
Same.
got this little got you Noah.
I was about to say, just kind of gives like a head nod back and just well met indeed. Are you signing up for the tournament?
I'm so smooth.
Yeah. Best of luck. I hope you do well. Perhaps we will meet each other on the battlefield.
Also, as T's like looking away, I'm just gonna lean over Riv, like to her face, like so it pokes against her.
What? With
The
the
dragon?
warlock?
Yeah.
Oh, you need to whisper to the dragon.
Do you mean- Do me a favor. Oops, there goes dice. Make an insight check for me. 14?
6.
I was about to say, yeah, it's just weird stranger. I'm trying to think of how I want to put this. Yeah,
Hear me out.
yeah.
Does the voice sound familiar like I heard it before?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
You get a vibe from her that she's acting like she just met you, like she's just meeting a stranger. But you get a vibe that before you said hi, she kind of already knew who you were. Whether that's because you met her before, whether that's because you're famous now, you just got that vibe. But no, the voice does not sound familiar. And also, as you finish up your conversation, you can see, like, crossing his arms, the dwarf is just, like foot tapping, like, quit talking to boys and let's go. And so, she follows him out and both make their exit. So, that is all for that. 3 of you get signed up for the tournament without any,
Use whatever weapon.
Stop standing there looking like a doof.
Well, I'm saying. Maybe with a pit. That's why I'm
You get wooden stick number 1 or wooden stick number 2? I really like this stick.
Suck it up. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's 20 minutes later, and we started late, and we went late on the break, and we've had 3 technical difficulties. Give me some fucking slack.
But the more you talk, the more it.
Yes, you do have to pick your weapons now. Arwen is picking daggers. I'm picking daggers for Arwen because
Arwen daggers.
Yeah.
Are we allowed more than one?
No.
So we have to fight armor
Wait,
without
then
one
yes.
dagger?
Well, no, the daggers come Daggers are like the only thing that come in a pair.
Oh.
So I can't do like how I did in my one backstory chapter where I did justice.
What do you mean?
Like have daggers, but also blue stuff.
No. You can't.
So
You can't hide 6 daggers up your shirt and then. So that is the thing. All of these weapons do 1d6 damage.
Okay.
Even
I'll do a dagger as well.
They also have like some sort of control, like gauntlets if you wanted to just fight with your like fists. It is up to you whether you would prefer like essentially like non-brass knuckles or a bow staff is your call.
I think we're like.
Well,
I'd make your punchies do 1d6.
Yeah, so they're the exact same.
What, the staff and the punch and these?
Yeah. So it's just flavor. Okay.
I will
It
say,
looks
you know
more
what? I will
badass
say
as
if it's
well.
a two-handed,
Yeah.
all one-handed weapons do 1d6, all two-handed weapons do 1d8. That is how I will decide to make it a little bit different and like penalize you for it. Well, not, but like you in-person penalties when you use a two-handed weapon. So like just in the natural order of combat, it's how things work. So you do a little bit more damage, it's a little bit harder.
okay.
But obviously, like you can still flurry of blows, like kick for 1d4, which is your monk weapon.
While using the staff?
Not with the staff, but well, yeah, if you're using the staff, you can like whack and then like flurry of blows, like kick for 1d4 each. Obviously, that's you're right as a monk.
Like I'm using my battle master stuff.
If I use the gauntlets and I punch, and then flurry of blows, punch, is that third one a d6?
You would get you only have one attack, so it'd be punch
Well, yeah.
as a d6, and then it would be
Bonus action.
flurry of blows, punch as both d6s. But your first attack would be with the d6, whereas it's all relative. Whereas if you're using the staff, your first hit is with the
Basically, I'm looking
d8.
at a d8 and then 2d4s versus 3d6.
3d6, yes, essentially, but only while you have enough key points to flurry of
Yeah,
blows.
What would she do? I don't think
Think
she
about
knows
this
about
way.
it.
She would always try and hit the hardest.
I would say then use that.
Because also keep in mind, if you're using your bonus action for anything other than attacking, if you only get one attack action, it's a d8 versus a d6. If you choose to patient defense, or if you choose to do anything else with your bonus action other than hit something. And eventually you will run out of key points and you won't be able to flurry your blows. Because in order for you to have full key points for every fight, you're taking a short rest between every fight, and you're assuming that there's going to be a great deal of time between all of them.
That's the easy advice that she gave that person that time. And stick with what she knows.
Perfect. Alright, so the three of you sign up for the tournament. Nothing else you would like to do as far as the tournament goes. And the two of you off to do shopping exploits. I will say everyone else kind of... Do the two of you do both not want to join the Trial of Strength?
I mean, Spendian has 0 charisma. And he fights with his charisma, and he can't do that with somebody else. So, that's...
What's your dex? Use dex weapons.
No, he wouldn't join. It just doesn't. That's just not something he would do. But he'll bet on somebody.
No? Alright, so we'll get to all... As everyone meets up after this to place bets and go shopping and gamble and see what else the festival has to offer on its first day. That is where we will draw to a close for tonight's episode. We will come back next week to a fun shopping spree now that everybody has a little bit of pocket change. So, I feel like we were able to get through everything we needed to get through RP-wise there. Had some good moments. Everyone is kind of set up on both an overall arc and some personal arcs now, so I feel like this is getting into some good shit. Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on now. A lot of arcs going on. You guys have a free choice of a lot of things to do. So, without any further ado, thank you all for sticking around and watching us this week. We will be back next Saturday at 7 p.m. to stream. This video will be uploaded to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/toughdnd. Wednesday at 7 p.m., not at Saturday at 1 p.m. like this week, but that's fine. Yeah, as long as YouTube doesn't bend us over and give us that old...
We have normal times in social media.
But anyway,
Thank you for sticking around. We love and appreciate you very much. And until next time, we've been in the Unlucky Few. Bye!
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be live streaming November 9th at twitch.tv/TUFDND. For more updates and content from us, check out our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at TUFDND, links in the description. From all of us here out at the Unlucky Few, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. See you later.